Hi everybody, Jennifer here. I'm going live today again with Shayna Bergman, and we are going to be continuing our Kick-Ass Leadership series. We're going to talk today about perfectionism and why so many people are proud of perfectionism, but it's actually one of the most disempowering places for you to be. I'm going to pause for one moment while I invite Shayna. And there you are.
Hi, Jen.
Hi, Shayna. Welcome. There was a little glitch and it wasn't letting me click the little invite tab. So, hi, everybody. Here we are. And as I said before, we're going to be talking about why perfectionism is not a place where you want to be inside of leadership or anywhere in your life. So, Shayna, I'm curious what your thoughts are on the whole concept of perfectionism.
Well, as a recovering perfectionist myself, it's a topic I hold near and dear to my heart. And, I think that's maybe sort of the first step is this is very common. We see this right across leaders in all walks of life is this feeling like we just have to be perfect all the time, right? I mean, it's common and it's debilitating in so many ways because it keeps us from trying things and taking risks. And there's no growth if we don't we're not willing to take a risk and to make a mistake potentially.
Right. And not only do we have to be perfect, but the proverbial it has to be perfect. Anything we create, write, produce, video, like this one here where I couldn't invite you on. It's so funny how often people are stopped by needing to get all of their ducks in a row.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite sayings in the whole world is done is better than perfect. And there comes with that this space to just be, to express yourself. How do you see that saying, that phrase applying to what you see with your clients?
Yeah, it's a really good question because I think it's very natural. I think especially when you are a leader of many or a leader of few, it doesn't even matter. You don't want to make a mistake. You want to get it right the first time. You don't want to waste time. You don't want to disappoint anybody. It's all normal, but the problem is then you're so rarely actually getting a lot done. You're so rarely moving forward and stretching and seeing what's possible when you're living in that space of perfection. So the done is better than perfect concept, right? Allows us to be able to like throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks and be a little bit more playful. And it's relieving, I think, in some ways, and I think there's another saying that you and I are familiar with too, which is you cannot make a mistake.
Right.
So I'm curious maybe how you would compare even those two.
Yeah, well, I feel like there's such a fear of judgment, fear of looking bad, a fear of imposter syndrome, as we know, which is all based on a fear of not being good enough or not knowing enough or not being viewed by others as being good enough. And the fear of not getting it right, being wrong, making a mistake is all part of that. Like, well, I need to make need to make sure everything's in line. I need to make sure I know everything. Even with as we've experienced with starting our coaching practices, there's so many times I had to just give up the do I know enough, as far as the business side of it, the website, it's like just stop. None of that matters, right? And it's okay to create as you go and to make mistakes because like you said, there is no such thing as a mistake. We learn, we grow from everything.
And I think we also magnify and catastrophize what we think could happen if we make a mistake.
Yes.
We create this massive drama in our head about how bad it's going to be and the impact. And the truth is, unless you're saving lives, we're typically not saving lives. And so when that's the case, what can you try? What is available to you? What happens if you do nothing at all? And then if you think about what's possible, what are you potentially missing by not trying and going after something and knowing that this is just data, right? I think of mistakes as data. Like, okay, that worked great. Let's do that again. That didn't. Okay, let's pivot and try a different way because the impact and the mistake is usually much smaller than we make it out to be.
Right. And I will actually add to that from a different point of view, even when we are saving lives.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the things, as a veterinarian, I coach a lot of veterinarians, and perfectionism is part of what is plaguing the profession and leading to such high levels of burnout. because people are so afraid to make a mistake. And again, catastrophizing. If I don't get this right, if I don't diagnose this case, oh my God, the animal's going to die. Well, the animal's not going to die, right? Like, but there's this fear of judgment, fear of not being good enough. And again, you got to just get in, you got to try it. Reminds me a little bit also of things in our lives, like house renovations or picking out clothing. Well, it's not the perfect dress. So 50 dresses later, the person still doesn't have a dress to wear to the event or doesn't have the lighting fixture picked out because it has to be perfect. No, just find one you like, buy it, hang it up, and it's all going to be fine, and that comes to our leadership, it comes to our lives, it comes to our work, no matter what we're doing. Just get out there, be you. You are good enough, you're smart enough, um, and you don't have to have all the ducks in a row.
So I'm curious. I'll share what, but I'd be curious from your perspective. What do you think is the first step? So for me, if somebody asked me, okay, well, how do I start that?
Yeah,
Like remind yourself, you can't make a mistake. You
right.
can't. You can't make a mistake. So if you believe that, what's one little small step you might take outside of your perfection comfort zone that allows you to test that
Yeah.
theory? That would be my step. What would you say, Jen, if somebody asked you that?
I would say to start to look at everything you just said, and where there's fear, what are you afraid of? What are you pretending not to know? Very, very often we have everything we need. We know everything we need to know, but we pretend like we don't know
Mm.
because that gives us a reason to not take action and to stay safe and small. So if somebody perceives like I'm not ready, I can't yet, but I need this, or as soon as I take that next certification or that next, as soon as I get taught this one more thing, what are you pretending not to know? What are you afraid of? And questioning whether or not that's really true and saying, you know what? Hint, it's not true. And just going for it. So I would love for everybody to figure out one thing that they may be holding themselves back with as far as feeling like they're not ready, feeling like it has to be perfect, and comment on our video and let us know what that is and how they either will or already have taken a step to move past that.
I love that. And if you have other video topics that you want us to cover, send them our way because we're happy to cover them.
100%.
Yeah.
So with that, um, thank you. And I think this was a great topic. We definitely will expand on this in future talks because the whole idea of perfectionism, there are so many facets to it. And it is such a ball and chain for so many people that we are thrilled to bring this to everybody.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jen, for having me.
You're welcome, Shayna. We'll talk to you next
Okay.
time. Okay,
Bye.
bye.